What's up, everybody? Alright, I gotta get my phone. Uh-oh. Here it is. Go to my YouTube channel. Your channel. Here's the live stream. Oh, look, it's actually working. I was having some internet problems recently, but those have been resolved! So, guys, for those of you watching this video, I'm sorry. I know that the lighting's all crazy. Let me try and fix this for a moment. Woo! Okay, so today I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm actually going to talk to you guys about World of Warcraft and how it actually led to me doing drop shipping. Because I didn't start out with interest in eBay and that kind of stuff. I actually used to play video games and use the economies in video games to make like in-game money. And that is where I first started getting experience with the concept of arbitrage. And so I'm going to explain how this is relevant to you guys and, in my case, what WoW enabled me to do with eBay, right? Because previously, I didn't really understand this concept, arbitrage. So I'm going to explain it to you guys. Arbitrage is when you can instantly do something and earn profit. So the reason that, hey Brian, how you doing, man? I still haven't made your tip-top video. I will at some point, but I'm actually not focused on YouTube too much right now. I just do these live streams. But after I make some more progress on the Spanish content website, then I will be starting more videos about Nicaragua and putting more time into that kind of stuff. That's kind of the direction that my YouTube channel is going to take once I keep working on the Spanish content website. But for now, I'm going to talk to you guys about how World of Warcraft led to me having this like self-employed life, because it's where I first started getting experience messing with an economy and learning how to resell things and how supply and demand works and all this kind of stuff, right? Because in my past, I didn't know about that. I didn't really study economics. I took one economics class at some point in my life, but aside from that, you know, I didn't have much experience at all. And it was actually in video games that I learned how to resell things. And then that led to me creating an eBay account. I literally didn't do eBay for a long time. I started doing eBay because I wanted to play a Nintendo 64 game called Perfect Dark. And so I went out and I bought a Nintendo 64 off Craigslist, and I got really excited. I brought it home and nothing worked. And I was like, dang, did I just buy defective games? Because I had like 10 Nintendo 64 games. I bought a bundle. It was a really good deal, to be honest. I got a Nintendo 64 and 10 games, including 2 or 3 of my favorite games, for 40 bucks. And resale-wise, that stuff was worth like $120, okay? And so I had these Nintendo 64 games, and they didn't work. Like, and I was so devastated. I was like, man, I just bought all these things and they don't work. They're defective. I almost messaged the guy and I was like, hey, these games aren't working. But then I discovered Q-tips and rubbing alcohol. And I applied some time into cleaning the games properly, and then boom, every single game worked. Every single one, right? And this blew my mind, because that moment, why is this relevant to you guys? Well, that moment, but I acquired games, and I had to put time into these games. I had to perform a service, maintaining the games and cleaning them, to make them sellable, right? And that was the first time in my life that I had actually applied that in real life. But where did I start learning about this stuff? It was actually in a game. It was in World of Warcraft. So I'm going to show you real quick how the economy works in WoW, looking at the auction house. So in World of Warcraft, there is this thing called an auction house. And the way this works is that there is a bunch of items for sale. One second. What did you say? You said, hey Jack, do you miss the USA? Honestly, no, not at all. I visit there to see my friends sometimes, but I don't, like, after I'm back there for like 2 weeks, I don't have any interest in actually staying in the United States. My life in Nicaragua is way, way, way better. Which is too loud, Jamie? The game volume, I'm assuming? Or my audio volume? Desktop audio. Okay, what about now? Alright, so we're going to be looking, we're in the auction house right now, and I'm going to teach you guys about how supply and demand works in this game, and how that led me to be in the position I am today in my actual, like, real life. At least until somebody joins. But I'm going to wait until somebody tells me if the audio volume is okay now. Do I know the creeper? Half it again, okay. Bum bum bum. There we go. Okay, now it should be fine. I'll also up it on my mic. We good? Is it good? There's actually not too much game volume going on right now, but I reduced it by like 80%, so it should be okay. Back in the mine. Alright, guys. So, what is... Well, okay, I assume people know what World of Warcraft is, but I shouldn't assume that because most of the people that I live with now in Nicaragua have actually never heard of this game, which blows my mind, because if World of Warcraft was a country, look how big it would be. Okay, World of Warcraft at its peak had 11 million players, right? So we're going to look at population by country. And we're going to look at the most populated countries and determine if World of Warcraft was a country, what country would it be number at, right? So we can see that the population in China is 1 billion, 1.4 billion, right? Yeah, 1.4 billion. India is 1.3 billion. USA, 300 million. So we just have to scroll down until we get into 10 million. There we go. Okay. So, if World of Warcraft was a country, at its peak, it would have been the 85th biggest country in the world. And there's something like, what? 230 countries, something like that? Hey, where'd everything go? Okay, so if World of Warcraft was a country, it's bigger than 2/3. Okay, like 2/5 of the rest of the world. Isn't that insane? That's how many people were impacted by this game. It's insane, and it's super fascinating for me, because in my future, I want to create an MMO that is this influential, because if you want to really make an impression on people, and really, like, inspire people, a game is a really fascinating way to do this, especially in MMO. For reference, guys, the average video game player will put between, like, 10 and 50 hours into a video game. Whereas in World of Warcraft, in an MMO, people will put months of their lives, and I don't mean like they play for months, I mean that they have months of logged in time into the game. People put thousands of hours into these massively multiplayer online games. And it's super interesting to me because the amount of influence you can have in these scenarios is insane. Hey, Alan says, hey Jack, I'm native Nicaraguan and an entrepreneur, so glad to have you. Awesome. I don't recognize you. Alan Paveda. Good to see you, man. Let me know if I can help with anything. I'm actually working on the Spanish content website now, so it's showing Nicaraguans specifically how to earn money on YouTube and on, well, not just YouTube, to be honest. It's showing people how to earn money on a whole bunch of different platforms. The basic premise is, if you live in Nicaragua, you have a huge advantage over everybody in the United States because your cost of living is really low and you have internet access. So you can change your life by earning like $600 to $1,000 a month online. Whereas in the US, that isn't life-changing money. That's just supplemental income. For reference, if you earn $1,000 a month in the United States, most of the time you're considered in poverty. If we look at the poverty line in the USA poverty line, I think it's like $13,000 or less. Yeah, look at that. So if you live in the United States and you earn less than $11,700, you are considered in poverty. That means you have so little money that you can't perform the basic tasks necessary for like human functioning, right? Whereas if you're in Nicaragua and you have this exact same amount of money, you are earning more than people with college degrees, right? And that's what I'm trying to explain to people. Like, the ability to earn money online is useful in the United States. But in a place like Nicaragua, it is absolutely life-changing. And it's easier. Like, don't get me wrong, the mental barriers are bigger. Because a lot of Nicaraguans think that they have a disadvantage because they don't have U.S. citizenship or something like this, right? But the reality is, their Nicaraguanness is a power. It is a strength. It is something that can enable them to change their life far, far faster with online income than somebody based in the United States. And it's not easy, but the ironic thing is that it's not hard because of it actually being hard. It's relatively easy to earn money online. The problem is the way that you were raised. Most of us were conditioned to believe that earning money online isn't really feasible. It's not viable, or you have to be super special or really smart to do it. But the reality is that's not true. And so the reason earning money online is hard is because of these mental barriers. It's not because it's actually hard. It's because you have to change the way that you think so that you can see the opportunity that's all around you, right? And so let me backtrack a bit, because I'm just trying to kill time until somebody joins this call, as usual, right? But I have a feeling today it's going to be a while before anybody joins. So I'm going to talk to you about how me playing WoW led into me understanding economies and understanding the concept of arbitrage and understanding how demand works, okay? So again, you understand World of Warcraft, huge game, millions of people have played this game. At its peak, it had 11 million active subscribers, okay? Nowadays, it has like 6,000 or 6 million or something like that. But at its peak, if we go back to this list and consider World of Warcraft a country, it was bigger than South Sudan, the Dominican Republic, Greece, Portugal, Sweden, the United Arab Emirates, Honduras, Belarus, Austria, Papua New Guinea, Switzerland, Hong Kong, Laos, Paraguay, Lebanon, Nicaragua. There's literally more people who play WoW than live in Nicaragua. Isn't that insane? Like, that is mind-blowing to me that so many people play a freaking video game, okay? And so, in this video game, for those of you who don't know, it's an MMORPG, which stands for Massively Multiplayer Online Role-Playing Game, okay? And so the way that this works is you have a character, and you build up, like, your stats and stuff, and you play together with other people. You can see that right now there's these other people running around. See, these are humans playing. Whereas these characters, these are computers. So the world is comprised with a bunch of NPCs, which are non-player characters, like that right there. And then there's player characters, which is like my character is a player character. This is a person. That's a person. Anybody with these blue names above them are actual humans, right? So there's an economy in this game. There's various things. You can make items, you can provide services for people, you can kill stuff and loot it, and then do stuff with the loot that you find, right? And there's this thing called the auction house. And on the auction house, you can buy stuff. So, you can see here that if I wanted to buy some leather, light leather, I could buy this kind of leather. And then I can use this skill here to make things out of leather. And I can create these items and then resell them for profit, which is literally exactly what you do when you are reselling or earning money online. Essentially, there is traffic because people are playing this game. They have demand. There are products. There's various products you can make in a game. There's like armor that people want. There's weapons so that they can kill stuff faster. There's all sorts of stuff, right? And so before I did any of my online work, before I did any of my like YouTube stuff, I played a lot of video games, right? Yeah, and it's true. Alan says there's a special item in real life economy too. And absolutely, it's all relevant, right? Mao Xiao's here and Broing's here as well. What's up, guys? So, just so you know, I'm talking about economies in video games and how in my life, video game economies is what taught me that I actually have interest in like working with prices and reselling things. And I did this in video games a lot before I ever tried to do it in real life. But it's really interesting because the experience I got in video games directly corresponds to what I eventually started to do in real life. Okay? So let me give you an example of arbitrage. You know that word if you're into drop shipping, right? Arbitrage, you hear it a lot. I'm going to show you arbitrage in a video game so that you can better understand it. So, first we're going to buy some basic stuff, okay? There's light leather. And you can see that if we look on the auction house for light leather, there are 376 listings for light leather. I'm going to go find one that is at a decent price because I know what is profitable for me to resell and what is not profitable, just like in real life, right? You can see this, 1 gold 50, fuck, or F that. That is not profitable at all. We are looking for a stack of light leather that sells for 5 silver or less. So, a stack is 20, by the way. So here, this is really close. We have 19 light leather for 3 silver, 85 copper. Let's find one that's more what we want. Okay, this is too expensive. Still too expensive. That looks like it's going to be the best one. Okay, so we're going to go back. And we're going to buy this light leather. Where is it? 19. Here we go, right here. Okay, so I got this light leather. I got 20 pieces of them for roughly 25 copper each. Okay? Now I'm going to get something called light hide. This stuff. Okay? And so with light hide, I can pay up to 1 silver per light hide. And look here. There's some available for 1 silver. I'm going to buy this light hide. Okay? So let's pull up a calculator real quick so I can keep track of everything and show you guys exactly what's going on here. So in World of Warcraft, there is copper, silver, and gold. The way it works is 100 copper equals 1 silver. 100 silver equals 1 gold. So 1 silver is 100 copper. 1 gold is 10,000 copper, right? 100 times 100. Yeah, I think so. Something like that. Or 1,000. Whatever. So, we spent 1 silver on the light hide. And then we spent 4 silver on 20 light leather. Okay? And I actually need to buy... I bought enough light leather to make 2 of these items. So, we're going to go back. Light leather. No, light hide. I need to buy 1 more light hide at 1 silver right here. Okay? So now we're going to go over here and we're going to go to our mailbox, which is where the items get sent after you win them. Okay? Here we go. And we have our auctions. Oh, and then I can... There's so much arbitrage I can talk to you guys about. This is like all I do in this video game. Okay, so we just purchased these 2 items. We have 19 light leather, and I bought 2 of these light hides, right? I'm actually going to go to my bank and grab one more light leather because I need 10, or 10 for each item that I'm making, okay? Bum bum. Yeah, Jamie, I know. It's not just WoW. My internet's just been horrible recently, unfortunately, with all my streams. Like yesterday, I did a live stream that was just a conversation, and it, like, completely disconnected 20 minutes into it. So that happens, like, regardless of whether I'm, like, using WoW or something else. So now we're going to withdraw some of this. Okay, so I want you guys to keep track that I have currently paid 2 silver for 2 light hide and 4 silver for this light leather, okay? So that means that I have spent 6 silver. I also need to buy 2 salt. So I just spent 1 more silver. I just spent 7 silver. And now I need to buy 2 fine threads, okay? I just spent 8 silver. All right? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open leatherworking. And I'm going to go down. And I'm going to make some items, okay? And now this part is important because what I'm doing right now is performing a service. I'm spending my time, which is something that is relevant in eBay and in real life as well. Okay, so now I'm spending a little bit of time. I made those 2 items, and now I'm making these 2 items. So again, remember I spent 4 silver plus 2 silver, that's 6 silver, plus 1 silver, that's 7 silver, and then 2 more silver. So in total, I spent 9 silver, okay? And now I have these 2 pants, right? And now what we're gonna do is go over here, open the store, and sell the pants for 6 silver and 6 silver. So I just made 12 silver. My cost of goods and operation was 9 silver. Therefore, there's a 30 silver profit, all right? And don't worry, guys, I'm not gonna be playing WoW this whole time. I just wanna show you some proof of concept and try and illustrate this. Now, I'm going to show you another example of this. You see all these things that I won here? I paid 11 silver for each of these. Right? Just buying them off of the auction house. And now we're going to go to a vendor right here. And we're going to sell the things I bought. And look, each one sells for 15 silver. So each one of these flips is 4 silver of profit. This is the kind of stuff I used to do in video games, and I love it. It's so fun for me. But I never realized that you could actually do all of that in real life. And it's so crazy because people are often quite judgmental of, like, if you're playing video games in that case, right? But in my case, like, I got to a point where I was realizing, I was like, you know, when I play these games, most of the time all I do is just mess with the economy. I just resell stuff, and I like earning money in the game. And then after a while, I was like, wait a second. Can I do that in real life? Isn't, like, why not? Why can't I? Isn't, like, there's a real economy. There's eBay, which is an auction house. And that's literally what led me to start being self-employed, was using all of this experience that I got playing these video games in these economies. And isn't that crazy? How, like, you may think that you don't have experience doing something. And that's what I thought. I thought I wasn't a talented person. I didn't have any useful information. I felt really insecure, and I was like, oh, I'm just playing video games. But it turned out that once I changed my mentality, I was actually able to monetize the experience that I got from playing video games. And that's what the moral of this little thing is. And I apologize. I know it's laggy. There's not really a whole lot I can do about that anymore, unfortunately. But the moral of this is that everything in life is mentality. Your life reflects your mentality. You can change the quality of your life by forcing your mentality to change. So you must focus on how you do that. Oh, 1 second. All right. Okay, I'm looking at the chat now. Okay, so Tassine Ahmad says, "Hey Jack, your thoughts on optimization? Have you done it? Can you explain what best match is?" Yeah, sure. Okay, so now we're going to go to eBay. Best match is how eBay determines what's going to show up in search results. So let's say that I go to eBay and I search for World of Warcraft. Things show up, right? Look at that. People are selling WoW game time. That's pretty crazy. So you can see that things show up in the search results. Best match is the default system that eBay uses to determine what shows up first. So you see that this is what eBay thinks is most relevant to somebody searching for World of Warcraft. And it actually is, because this is what you have to pay for in order to be able to play the game. The game costs $30 or $15 per month. And it's actually quite interesting because you can see here, you can actually get a month of it, a month of game time for $12.89. So they're actually selling it for less than it costs. How is this possible? Well, that means that they are purchasing it somewhere, probably for less than this price. They're paying 10% to eBay and 3.5% to PayPal. So in reality, that means they're getting it for less than $11, which means that they're either fraudulent or they're using a website like g2a.com. So how does this work? This is a website where you can purchase various codes for games, right? Like if I search for World of Warcraft game time, you can see here that you can get it for $10.83. Okay? So what somebody's doing is they're getting something like this, and then they are making an eBay listing and selling it. So anytime somebody purchases this, all this person does is just go to a website like this and purchase game time, and it's like a gift card, basically. And then you literally just upload it, right? And so they might not be using G2A. I think they are. But let me check real quick, because I believe that there's tax in addition to this, right? Let's make sure we figure out the total. Okay, it says it can't be activated in Nicaragua. That's not true. You can add WoW game time anywhere you can play WoW. So what I'm trying to do now is figure out the total price for this item. We need to figure out what our cost is with tax, okay? That's weird. Let's do that again. World of Warcraft. Oh. Something down here? I think I messed up my cookies. Yeah. Alright. We're gonna go to G2A again. Come here. Consent to this. World of Warcraft. I have to figure out the cost, including tax, right? Because we want to figure out how much profit this person's earning. Okay. That's weird. Where did that $10 one go? Here it is. Okay, right. Here you go. 30 days, $10.83. Okay. So we're going to click on this. Yeah, G2A is messing up right now. Add it to the cart. And now I'm trying to figure out what the total cost is. Okay, so the total cost is $12.43 from this website. Okay, and that includes this fee right here. And it's in Spanish, I apologize. Okay, $12.43. Let me write that down real quick. And they might not be using G2A. Keep in mind, like, you can still use like cashback and stuff, so you can get that $12.43 number to be cheaper. But now let's look here, and yeah, they're selling it for $12.89. Let's see if there's tax. No thanks. And in which case they would be losing some money. Why does it say FedEx? That's weird. But anyway, the point here is that you get items in one place and you're able to sell them in another place, but they're digital, so you can just replicate them, right? And I was just trying to figure out where they were getting their game time from, but it looks like it's not G2A, or if it is, they're using like some kind of cashback or gift card or buying in bulk and getting a bigger discount. Because at this price comparison, this is almost the same cost as it is in G2A, which means that they wouldn't be making money, but that's okay. So what I was explaining to you before I got sidetracked is how best match works, right? Because that was your question. I apologize. Best match right here, you can see that you can pick the sort. So best match is the default way that eBay determines what's going to show up first. They use a lot of factors like number of reviews, what the price is, how many have sold, what the person's account is. So if we click on this and we see their account, we can see that they have 179 feedback. So that means they've been doing this for a little bit. Only selling World of Warcraft products. And they've sold 4 in the day. Kind of cool. 96 sold. But so that's all best match is. It's just how stuff shows up in search results. You can see that you could then change it to ending soonest. So this stopped best match. Best match is just how your stuff shows up in search results. It's kind of like Cassini. You can use them interchangeably. All right, so let's see. What else? Okay, and then Tessina Mod says, "Hey Jack, what are your thoughts on optimization? Have you done it? Can you explain what best match is?" That's right, I didn't answer the first part. So optimization is when you change a title in order for more people to be able to find it. Okay? So let's search for Illidan Storm Rage statue. You can see these show up, right? Look how expensive these are. Holy crap. That's insane. Not that many. Imagine that these titles were just like that long. Less people would come across it, right? Let's search for World of... Well, actually, one second. I'm really scattered right now. I apologize. We have 5 results for that search, right? Whereas if we search for World of Warcraft statue, then we have 100 results. So if you're saying selling a statue, Illidan, for example, is a character in WoW. So if you're selling a statue and you post it on eBay and you just call it Illidan statue, then somebody searching for World of Warcraft statue won't see your Illidan statue. even though you have a statue of one of the most popular characters in World of Warcraft, or one of the most well-known villains, right? Optimization is when you add more keywords to your title so that more people can find your item. All that optimization does is it increases the traffic that comes to your item. It doesn't make people who come more likely to buy it, but it makes it more likely that more people will come to your item. And so how do you do optimization? Honestly, it's pretty easy. I'm going to go to Walmart real quick, and I'm going to give you a couple tips on how to do optimization. We're going to just search for keep with the World of Warcraft trend here. And we're going to look for an item that is Walmart only, because you never want to sell marketplace items. Okay, here we go. A World of Warcraft Duraton 6-inch figure with accessories. Right? So, how would we create an optimized title for this? You can see that this is the title already. We don't care about this with accessory part. People aren't searching for, is there accessories? People aren't searching for action figure plus accessories. So you can ignore that part. World of Warcraft Duraton 6-inch action figure, that's relevant. And also, these are relevant. The names of the categories. So the easiest way to do really quick title optimization is to copy the parts of the title that are relevant, right? In this case, the original title is Warcraft Duraton 6-inch figure with accessory 6+. I don't care about the with accessory. I honestly don't even care about the 6-inch part, but it doesn't take up that much space, so we're going to keep it. But now what we want is these. Look at this. So anytime there's a product, you're also going to have the categories of the product, right? So we can see that this item is in toys, action figures, all action figures. So that means that we could change this to Warcraft Duraton 6-inch action figure toy. See? And again, remember I said that you don't want to just be too specific. This is Warcraft, but this is a World of Warcraft character. So you're going to change this to World of Warcraft, because there's a lot of people who search for World of Warcraft. Like I said, World of Warcraft is millions of people have played that game. Millions, okay? So optimization is putting things into your title that are going to bring more traffic to your listing. And now, the easiest way that I recommend is you start with the title, you identify the words that don't bring traffic. Like, ask yourself, is somebody searching for this part? And if the answer is no, don't put it in your title. Okay? So identify the words in the title that are relevant. In this case, only these. And then look at the categories, because this is also going to be relevant. People search for action figures. People search for toys, right? So we then added these words. But now what we want to do is take it a step further and use a keyword optimization tool. Title Builder, I think? Yeah, Title Builder is an example. Title Builder. Okay? There's a bunch of different ones available. But we're going to look at this. Go to Title Builder. And now we're just going to paste the title. And we're going to get rid of these and just say action figure toy. Okay? Now this is going to search for all of the things that are relevant. So you can see that figure, action, and toy have most of the traffic. So we've already basically optimized the title by including the category names. And so title optimization is a bit tricky because it does increase the traffic. But if you're not careful, you can spend loads of time getting nervous and trying to figure out how to optimize titles. So again, the way that I recommend you do it is you start with the base title, you get rid of words that aren't associated with traffic, and then you add the category titles. You can see here that in the base title, we just had Warcraft Duraton figure, whereas figure, action, and toy are very searched for. But we had to look this up. We had to spend time opening a new tab, going to a website, and finding that. A lot of these companies have already done that work, and they know that these categories are in demand, and that's why the categories are named that way. So typically what you can do is literally just copy the keywords from the categories that the item is placed in, okay? And this will work regardless of if you're using Walmart or Amazon or anything, because all of these websites organize their inventory by category. So then you can just put things in these categories, okay? All right, moving on to the next one. Mao Zhao says, in my opinion, all this profitable e-com, dropshipping, affiliate marketing, CPA ads, video games, just the market has changed. The big secret, we must focus on one thing and change the mindset before all. Yeah, you get it, man. Everything is possible. You can't copy exactly what other people are doing and expect that everything's going to work. You have to be able to make yourself into a person who will keep trying new things over and over again, and who will learn from other people, but will use that information to figure out how you can improve it, how you can make it better. It's all in the mentality. Right. Aceman said, my buddy said that queue time was insanely long for Classic, not near enough servers. Blizzard is such a fail, as if they don't have enough money to have enough servers. So, it's not that simple, actually. Because the reality is there are enough servers for Classic. But, okay, Classic just launched, right? And so for you guys, just so you know, for those of you who aren't familiar with World of Warcraft is a really old game. It's been out for 15 years. But it's changed so much. And at its peak, World of Warcraft had 11 million subscribers. Now, after multiple expansions, it only has 6 or 7 million subscribers. So it has lost almost 50% of its player base, okay? Over the years, a lot of people really wanted the first original version of the game. They wanted to play the one that they played as kids, the one that got them into the game, the one that made it popular, not the one that's available now. Because it's not the same game. It's been changed so much. It feels empty. Like, it's pretty graphically, but the world is meaningless. It doesn't have the same immersion and epic feel that the original game had to it, right? And so people were creating their own servers playing the old version of the game because you literally couldn't play the old version. The World of Warcraft had been changed so much, it wasn't the same game anymore. So other people started uploading servers and enabling them, and this started getting really popular. There's a server that was really famous called Nostalrius. How many players on Nostalrius? Okay. So Nostalrius had 800,000 people playing on it, okay? In total. That's almost 1 million. Keep this in mind. This is a custom-made game at this point, right? Because it's the old game that Blizzard no longer offers that other people have put up on their own servers, and they're hosting it because they love the game so much that they want to be able to play it, and they want other people to be able to play it. So you used to be able to play on these private servers for free, and almost 1 million people played on these private servers. And for years, Blizzard was like, F you guys, you can't be playing our game. And so you can see that they were sending cease and desist letters to these people. Blizzard shuts down Vanilla WoW private server. See? And so Blizzard was shutting down these games. But eventually they got wise and they realized, okay, there's a huge portion of our player base that literally wants to play the original game we released more than the game we have now. Because they've, honestly, in my opinion, they've effed the game up. They've, like, changed so much that they've lost sight of why people played World of Warcraft in the beginning. And people are, like, Blizzard kind of understands that now, right? Which is why they enabled Classic. But Classic just launched, like, on Monday, okay? So it's only been available for 4 days. So now you can get the official Blizzard version of the first game. And take a step back here and think about this. This huge game design company, one of the biggest game development companies in existence, who have made multiple games that have reached over 20 million people in this world, because World of Warcraft is just one of the games that Blizzard has made. They've made the StarCraft universe, Diablo, Hearthstone, all these other games, okay? World of Warcraft is what made them into the behemoth, the giant that they are now. But take a step back and think about this. This gaming company found that their audience wanted them to release a game that was made 15 years ago. Exactly how it was, right? Like, it's not exactly the same, but it's almost the same experience. It's very similar. And that says a lot about the state of the MMO scene. And the most popular one has demand to just re-release the 15-year-old version of it. How do you exist for 15 years and people want the 15-year-old original more than the one that is available now? You know? And this is not unique to World of Warcraft. This also happens with RuneScape. RuneScape is the biggest MMO in existence because it is free to play, whereas Warcraft is a paid game, okay? And RuneScape had the same problem. They were really popular, hit their peak, loads of active accounts, millions of players, and then they made some really controversial changes, and they lost the vast majority of their player base. And so what they did is they noticed this, and they re-released the original version of the game at the peak of the player count. So now they have the RuneScape 3 and the original version called Old School RuneScape. And in the beginning there were less players of Old School RuneScape, but now there's actually more people playing the old version of the game than the new version. So these game development companies are making games, updating them, and fucking them up so much that people actually want the older versions more, which is really interesting. Because from a game development perspective, it takes a lot of time and effort to create these big expansions and to change everything. And what the industry is showing people is that people don't want that. People want regular, small additions to games, especially MMOs. They don't want everything to just be changed and made invalid. And I'm not going to get into too much of that because I don't want to bother you guys with video game stuff. I've already talked a lot about it, right? Okay, so next we have... What's the Zoom... Oh, B! I never shared it. Oh, shit. Sorry. Man. Invite. Yeah, I need to pay for an actual Zoom room because my Zoom room changes. Yeah, I think we're going to have an actual participant. Oh. I'm talking in the Warcraft chat. That's kind of funny. Alright, cool. Okay, so if any of you want to join the Discord chat, let me know. I can post one. Okay, so... Next, we have Saphir, or Aceman actually, said... They have an issue with their localization files loading. Changing your language on the site might work. Oh, yeah, you're talking about G2A, right? Yeah, it's because it's in Spanish. That's probably a good point. Okay, RTube says, Hey Jack, long time. I want to start an ecom YouTube channel, but I don't feel comfortable showing my face. Any advice? Okay, first, hard truth. Get over it and get comfortable showing your face. This is going to give you a competitive edge because the rest of the world is not comfortable showing their face. So by being scared of this, you put yourself with the rest of competition. By showing your face, you put yourself ahead of the competition, you make yourself different, and you start to develop a brand as the person that you are, okay? I've gotten to a point in my life where people will pay me just to talk to them because I did this, because I showed my face, okay? Show your face, okay? Seriously, get over it. Show your face. Doesn't matter what you think. If you're worried that people are going to use stuff against you, get over it. Make yourself accessible. Put yourself out there. That will bring opportunity into your life, and it will make you a more confident person. Okay, that being said, I understand not everybody is willing to do that. But I want to make it clear, get over it. Seriously, I was nervous too in the beginning, but you get so used to it. You just keep doing it over and over again. But I understand that's not easy. However, I want you to know that doing it will increase the effectiveness of your channel. Thumbnails in particular perform better if you show a face. Videos are more relatable if you show a face, okay? But technically you don't have to. You could literally just do this, right? You see what I'm doing? I'm showing ecom. Well, I'm showing stuff, but you don't see my face. All you see is a voice. That's okay. And there are some big channels that do that. But keep in mind, it's going to reduce the amount of people who subscribe to you. People typically subscribe to you because they relate to you. They want your content. They feel like they know who you are as a person. If you're not showing your face and you're not putting yourself out there, you aren't showing your personality. You aren't giving them things to relate to. You're just becoming a technical tutorial that's giving them information, and then they move on and they never subscribe to you. That doesn't always happen, but again, it is really important to try and show your face whenever possible. I know it's hard. I know it's scary. But keep in mind, the rest of your competition is thinking the exact same thing. They're all scared as well. And you can put yourself past the competition by facing your fears and confronting that and getting over it. And I understand if you feel like you're not attractive or you're not fit or something like that. Honestly, like, no matter what, you're gonna have something that you feel insecure about. There's plenty of times I feel insecure. Like right now, like this part of my hair is all longer. It's not brushed and combed as well, right? Like I get insecure about that stuff. But I'm not gonna let it stop me. F that. You can't let these kind of things stop you. Because that's what's happening to everybody else. That's why people don't create channels. It's not because they can't. It's not because it's hard. It's not because they don't have the information. It's not because there isn't demand for their information. It's because they feel too insecure. And they let that insecurity stop them. That's the mistake. You can't let the insecurity stop you. And you have to understand, all people feel insecure. Like, okay, I used to struggle with that. I seriously did. Like, I got really nervous. I feel like sometimes, like, I don't like the way my eyes look, or one of my eyes is closed a little bit more, like that. And it makes me feel, like, really, really insecure and nervous. But, like, the reality is nobody gives a fuck. It doesn't matter. I need to stop cursing so much. My videos get... I got limited ads on the recent video. Sorry, I'm getting enthusiastic. I want to prove a point to you. Get emotional, right? But I really encourage you to show your face. It's going to help. Okay. Wicked. Well, I'm not sure what to talk about now, guys. I'm still waiting for B. I was too late. He wanted to join, and I didn't see the message. I forgot to share the Zoom call. So if any of you guys want to join, we're going to go to YouTube. We're going to find my channel, find the live stream. Oh, I can actually go YouTube live dashboard. There we go. I'm going to give you guys a link to join. Here you go. Anybody who clicks on that Zoom link will be able to join the call. And now I'm just gonna wait. I'll give it like 6 more minutes, okay? So if somebody joins the room, we can talk about whatever. Got 6 minutes to join. Or you can ask questions in the chat if you're interested. All right? Oh, man. That's another thing, RTube. So one thing you want to practice is your narration. Narration is the act of continuously talking and not stopping. And it's really tricky because it's hard to stay on topic, but you have to kind of develop that ability over time. This video in particular, this live stream in the beginning, like I've been narrating the whole time. I've been talking nonstop for 60 minutes, but it was really scattered. I was like moving back and forth between points in like a not very congruent and effective way. And sometimes I just have a harder time. Like in this, it was really impromptu. I was like, oh, I'm going to show them something in World of Warcraft, yada yada. I'm going to relate that to how I earn money. But I hadn't like practiced it. I didn't have any experience with that. And also like, I know that my internet's really laggy. So that creates problems and sometimes psychs me out a bit. But in general, you want to practice narration as much as possible, constantly, over and over again. The ability to narrate is very monetizable. Very monetizable. Like right now, for example, I'm like, oh, I gotta wait 5 or 6 minutes. Nobody's here. Nobody's asking questions. What do I do? What do I keep talking about? How do I do this? In the past, in the very beginning, I would have felt really nervous and I probably would have ended the stream. But now, I have enough experience to know how to talk, to keep myself talking. And kind of, I can keep much better track. I remember what I talked about and what I'm going to talk about next and what I need to talk about and how to relate these things to people. But in the beginning, it wasn't like that at all. Keep in mind, I've been making content, like, I've made over 1,200 YouTube videos. So I've spent over 1,000 hours practicing narration. And so it's gotten me to a point where I can just turn it on and off. It's like a switch. And it's funny because in my personal life, I'm not a talkative person. Like most of my friends are like, they see my YouTube videos and they're like, holy crap, I didn't know you could talk so much, right? Like, and that's interesting too. A lot of people think that YouTubers are extroverted, but most YouTubers that I've met in person are actually really introverted. It's like YouTube gives us this space where we feel comfortable, and that brings out the extroverted nature in us. But in normal life, we're actually quite introverted. This is true for most YouTubers. Not all of them, but a lot of them. And it's funny because you would think like people who YouTube are extroverted and like people, right? Because they're putting themselves in front of possibly hundreds of thousands of people online. But usually, YouTubers are kind of weird and introverted, typically. So if you're interested in YouTube and you feel like you're not an extrovert, you're actually an introvert, and you feel like you're weirder than other people, you actually are the classic YouTuber. That is literally the classic YouTuber personality type. So maybe that's an indication you should start making some videos, right? Alright guys, so now I'm going to start my course pitch. Look at this. I'm going to show you guys what courses I have available because I was just talking about YouTube. And I have courses teaching you guys exactly what you need to do in order to earn money from YouTube and run YouTube channels. So I have 3 courses. One is about drop shipping. One is about screen recording and live streaming. And one is about making and monetizing a YouTube channel. Okay? So I'm going to show you guys what these courses look like real quick. We're going to look at the creating and maintaining and monetizing a YouTube channel. This talks about YouTube as an opportunity, and I explain why YouTube is such a good opportunity for so many people all over the world. I firmly believe that YouTube is the biggest opportunity that exists to any humans on this planet, because it allows you to generate traffic and monetize doing the thing that you love. Dropshipping doesn't allow you to do that. You can't dropship what you love. you have to just sell stuff. It's kind of boring and kind of mindless, and you can outsource it and train VAs, but ultimately, if you love video games, you can't just dropship video games. That's too limiting and you don't earn enough money. You have to dropship basically everything, or find a specific niche that there's demand for, but that's separate for you having interest. Whereas with YouTube, you can literally take what you love, what you enjoy, make content about it, and then make digital products about it, and you have a whole life that centers around what you love as a person. That's why I firmly believe that YouTube is the best opportunity for people. It's because it exponentializes what you enjoy in this life and allows you to make money from what you enjoy. And if you do the things you enjoy, you can do them for 10, 20, 30 years. Whereas if you're doing something you don't enjoy, you're going to get bored of it. You're going to get tired. You're not going to want to do it anymore. Okay? So that's what this this Udemy course is all about. It's all about all of these things, monetizing YouTube channels, how to earn money from it, all that kind of stuff. Okay? And then the next course, holy crap, we have a joiner. Somebody's here. Hey, it's Jamie. What's up, man? All right, I'm just going to... Yeah, it's true. It's true. Let me just finish my course pitch real quick. I need to share one more. So, this course teaches you how to create and monetize your YouTube channels and how to create the content for them, but it doesn't teach you the technical stuff, like how to use the software, how to perform live streams, how to video edit. Well, actually, I do have video editing in here, but it's not as technical. It's more like theory crafting. Whereas this course, the OBS and live streaming and screen recording course, teaches you exactly how to host live streams just like this one, how to set them up using OBS, which is this tool. Also teaches you how to do video editing, how to create content for courses, and all of that. And you guys, if you're interested, you can get any of these courses for $10 a piece. Just look at the description of this video. And there you go. All right, cool. All right, I finished my pitch. What's up, man? That's so recurring. Yeah. Awesome. I'm glad that we got something productive out of this live stream. Yeah. Yeah. And the great thing about that is you don't need to identify if the category is relevant or whatever. It's just this item is in this category, so you just put it into the title, you know? Like, obviously, identifying if it's relevant is helpful, but technically... Yeah, so you would have to... Well, are you just using that as an example, or do you actually have a GoPro product? We shouldn't sell any GoPro stuff. An example. Okay, good. I was like, oh shit. So, is there a way to... Because if you just detect duplicate words and then don't allow duplicates, then... you would get the extra words from the category without the duplication. Yeah, gotcha. I think that's pretty specific, though. I'd imagine that across all of the source, are there that many categories like that? Gotcha. Is that a cat? Oh. I was like, there's a person in a wedding ground. Well, yeah, you're, oh no, you're getting married next year. Chris is getting married in 2 days. Okay, Four-Eyed Hustler says, "What's up? What's about, Jack? At my work, tuning in. Hey, man, how you doing? We're chatting with Jamie about title optimization. I guess is what we're talking about." Yeah, but you can't do 10,000 items in like 20 minutes. Yeah, but to the people listening, the scale of numbers we're used to working with is like way, 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 way higher than like most of the people who try and drop ship. They'll be like, "Oh, I'm not getting sales," and I'm like, "How many items do you have?" And they're like, "I got 20, maybe 4, maybe 100 or 200, but I don't know if anybody has ever asked me that question and had more than 200 items. Like maybe once or twice, but typically if you posted 1,000 or 2,000 items, you're not gonna ask somebody like why your store is not making money. I mean, you're gonna ask a more specific question, you know, like an actual useful question that could get an answer. Then you can start making some more money. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's actually something interesting to bring up, because when I started drop shipping, I had that premise where it was like, well, I posted 1,000 items and got X, so if I post 2,000 items, I'm gonna get 2X. But the reality is, I bought 1,000 lottery tickets and I got X. 2,000 lottery tickets gets you Y. It's not like you can't really compare them that simply. Hmm. I I've always wondered how often eBay actually makes conscious decisions like that. Because from what I understand about the company, like there are some times where they make conscious decisions, but a lot of times like reps tell you completely different things, and like to say that eBay feels one way is kind of misleading, because the reality is eBay is comprised of like thousands of different people, and a lot of them will tell you different things when they shouldn't. Like there were times that before dropshipping was made, like or drop shipping from Walmart and Amazon was made frowned upon, like actually frowned upon. I talked to a rep who told me, like, I said I was drop shipping. He's like, whoa, never admit that you're drop shipping. And I was like, dude, I've been telling reps that I've been drop shipping every day for like a year. And then this one rep is like, why'd you tell me that? And I was like, what? But then other reps are like, oh yeah, what tool do you use to drop ship? Oh yeah, I use Hydralister too. And it's like complete opposite ends of the spectrum from people in the exact same position, you know? And that was a recurring theme. Yeah. Yeah. The worst experience I had with that on eBay in particular was when I changed my billing cycle. So if you are you're not, like, if you look it up, it tells you that you can't change your billing cycle. So just for reference, eBay either bills you on the 1st or the 15th, either or. There's no other billing dates, and they tell you that you can't change that. But when I started the enterprise store, I committed to the enterprise store, I was like, well, it doesn't make sense for my billing date to be halfway through the month when there was like some reason, I don't remember anymore, that all my items had to be posted on the 1st, but then I got charged for stuff on the 15th, so it was like 2 weeks off and it messed stuff up. So I used that as justification to request a billing cycle change. And so I called them and they're like, all right, that might actually work. We're going to try. Because the first rep said it was impossible. Second rep was like, oh, hey, we actually can do that. It's just not common. But you're a really big store, so, you know, maybe we'll be able to do this for you. And I was like, all right. He submitted his thing. And then, like, a week later, I called them. And then I was like, hey, I'd like to get a status update on how this is going. And the rep was like, oh, yeah, that was rejected. It's not happening. I was like, okay, cool, whatever, I tried. And then 6 days later, I see a bill, and I'm like, huh. It looks like I'm about, because my bill, you know how on eBay, if you look at your bill, it like zeros before, it's like pending, and you can't see it anymore the day before it actually gets, the cycle resets. So like you can see that you're about to get billed. So that started happening to me, and I was like, wait, what the hell? Does that mean it actually changed? So then I called eBay, and I was like, hey, you know, I submitted this request. I was told that it failed, but now it definitely looks like I'm about to get billed, which would mean that it succeeded, which was a huge problem because after being told that it had failed, I had posted everything based on the first date of the billing cycle. Because if you don't do that, then you lose, like, you pay 50% more, at least in that circumstance, right? And I was, like, thousands of dollars in insertion fees. So expensive. This was like $1,000 mistake, right? And I talked to the rep and I was like, it really looks like I'm about to get billed. And she was like, no, your billing date is still this. It's probably just a problem with your browser. It's fine. I was like, okay, whatever. And then I wake up the next day and I got fucking billed. And I was like, Jesus Christ. Like, I talked to 4 reps and every single one of them said something different to me. And I was trying. Like, I was trying to know what's going to happen. And it didn't matter. Although eBay did credit me like $3,000 after that. That was nice of them. I mean, every month my bill was like $7,000 to $11,000. So they helped me with one half of my bill. Although now, honestly, I felt really lucky at the time, but now, like, I still owe eBay like $3,000 or $4,000. It still hasn't affected my credit. They can't contact me because I'm in Nicaragua, so I don't get their calls anymore. I pay like 10, 20 bucks a month sometimes if I remember, but I haven't done that in like 60 days. So I freaked out too in the beginning. Like I paid off like a grand or two after I got banned, which was dumb. I really like legitimately regret doing that because I could have paid it off to my like income tax or something else, something that actually matters. Whereas apparently owing eBay money, like they still haven't sold the debt to a collection agency. Because I think that's what has to happen. Like they sell it and then it affects your credit. But once they sell it, they lose the ability to get that actual amount back. And so they're hoping that at some point you're going to want to sell on eBay again and you're going to actually pay your bill to be able to do that. Although in my case I got banned, so I can't do that. But their departments are so segregated that like the people who contact me about paying it off still use that as leverage. They're like, if you want to keep your ability to sell, maybe you'll want to sell something again in the future, you got to pay this bill off. And I was just like, you guys banned me permanently. That's not true. And they're like, oh, well, yeah. It's like, goddamn. eBay's a mess sometimes. Archaic. An IBM. Yeah, I'm really glad not to be on eBay anymore. Me too. And that's literally why I have long hair now. Because as a kid, I always wanted to grow my hair out, and my mom was always cutting it. So as soon as I got older, I was like, yeah, I can do what I want now. I'm an adult. I guess. I learned a trick recently, actually. Alba taught me how to braid hair, which is amazing because it just like keeps it out of the way, and then when you take the braid, it like is neat and like organized. Whereas if you don't, then it gets all like all over the place and fluffy. Like right now, it's like all over the place. But if you leave it in a braid, then it like falls really nice and it looks all pleasant and like styled. It's super cool. It's like really easy trick. Did you call him Legolas? Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Oh my god, that's great. Yeah, yeah. You know, I actually, when I was younger, I used to be mistook for a girl much more often, but now that doesn't happen as much, even though I have really long hair. Like, way longer. My hair was shorter when I was, but I guess that's because when I was, like, kids are less, it's harder to tell what gender they are. You know, their bodies are less, like, you know, affected by hormones. Yep. I don't think, I think people have mostly tuned out. Broing, yeah. He's the one who wants me to make, he or she actually, I don't know, is the one who wants me to make a, so Tip Top, do you know what this is? Tip Top is like the KFC of Nicaragua. It's just really fried chicken. And it's funny too, it's really funny because like all my Nicaraguan friends are like, most of them are really into like eating healthy and that kind of stuff, and they don't like Tip Top at all. And so like I kept telling them that this guy was like really into Tip Top and I was gonna go to Tip Top, and they were like, what the hell? It was funny. But he's mentioned it so much, I'm looking forward to going to Tip Top now. I feel the love. I want some fried chicken. Yeah. Actually, so okay, I can talk for a little bit about healthcare in Nicaragua, right? Because I recently went to a doctor for the first time in Nicaragua. I no longer have, man, when I have this angle, it just like gets so bright. Is there healthcare? Yes. Yeah, there's plenty of healthcare. Wait, oh, are you talking about health insurance? Because I just said I don't have any. Oh, yeah, no. Yeah, you can get healthcare. There's both. There's government run and there's private. If you go to private, you're still paying less than if you have insurance in the United States and you go. So I don't know. I don't think it's subsidized. The governments here don't have much money. Maybe it is, but I've only gone to private. So, okay, first, let me backtrack a little bit here. In the U.S., I went to doctors a lot. I had a long history of struggling going to doctors because I was really fatigued, and I was having problems with that. I was also having problems with appetite, and I would go to doctors and talk about these things. And instantly, they would always try and put me on drugs like antidepressants. They would ask, like, instantly start talking about depression, try and get, like, on some kind of like mood enhancing drug, right? And that happened like 4 times going to completely separate doctors, when literally I was just like, I'm sleepy a lot and I don't have an appetite, and I know that I'm not eating and that's causing me to be more sleepy. How can we address this appetite problem? And like, again, $100 per appointment with insurance. Like, it was expensive to do all this crap, and ultimately I never got any results and spent money, right? Here, last weekend, I went to a doctor recommended by one of my friends. The cost of the appointment alone was $7, okay? Went to the appointment. I waited like 45 minutes. Got in, talked to the doctor. He asked me he asked Alba some questions. Alba translated. And then they drew my blood, tested my urine, went to the lab, came back, had a minor issue, got it resolved. Lab work cost another $7. Then got, I had like blood, traces of blood in my urine. This is a common thing. I have this like multiple times in the past. And you can't actually see it, like it looks completely normal, but there's like red blood cells in my urine. which is an indication that there could be a problem somewhere else, and it's usually an indication of kidney problems. So I got an ultrasound of my kidneys. In the United States, this is a couple $100, okay? 400 cords. This is $8. Okay? Then they printed it out for me. I got the big thing, took it back to the doctor. He looked over it, completely normal, no problems, because they were checking to see if I had kidney stones, right? And I didn't have any kidney stones. Everything looked normal from the ultrasound. So, did that, and then the doctor told me to go to the pharmacy and get this. Huh? You have no sound? That doesn't make sense. That can't happen. Oh, no, it can happen. It's because World of Warcraft was so, there we go.
Lied that you dulled me down by 80%.
Exactly. Yeah.
Uh-huh. So I really caused my own problem?
Yeah, you did, actually. Oh, no worries, B. It's all good. I'm sorry I didn't notice the link sooner. But okay, yeah. So I got the stuff done, got those tests done, and then the doctor gave me, he was like, look, you really have to focus on getting food because that's, like you say, it's going to help your fatigue. And right now, I don't have the problems with fatigue anymore, so I was just talking about the appetite thing. And then so he told me to go to the pharmacy and get these little... It's like this liquid that has ginseng and some other vitamins and stuff. And he was like, this will probably help. Just take it like once a day as soon as you wake up for a month, and that should get everything like kick-started, and then you won't need to keep going. And so like he had the mentality of how do we fix the root cause to help you, not how do we drug you and give you something and keep you on it for the rest of your life, right? And
it doesn't sound as fun though.
Well, yeah, I guess, but so I went to the pharmacy and I bought a month's worth of this stuff, and it cost me another 400 cords, okay? And actually, I said 400 cords was $8. That's wrong, because 300 cords is $9, so it's like $11 or $12, okay? So I got that stuff, and I started taking it like 3 or 4 days ago, and he said it would take like 2 or 3 days for my appetite to start increasing because of it, and like today... I woke up, I ate breakfast, I wasn't that hungry, but then like an hour and a half later, I started being like, wow, I'm really hungry, and I ate like a second breakfast, and I haven't done that in like the entirety of me being here in Nicaragua. So like, it fucking blew my mind that I was sitting here being judgmental about this country's healthcare system, and then I go to actually use this country's healthcare system, and it is... like, literally 5% of the cost of the American healthcare system, and it actually worked! Like, it's fucked up! Like, so fucked up! And I don't know if it's fixed, but, like, this is, like, there's actual progress. Like, I feel hungry, and, like, right now, I want to eat. I literally feel hungry, and normally that was the problem. I don't get the hunger feeling. I'd have to remember to eat, and I enjoy the food for the first, like, 20% of it, but then I just have to kind of like force it. But like now I want to eat. I feel hungry, and I've already eaten twice today. And like there's no other things that are contributing to my appetite right now. Like sometimes if I smoke weed, obviously that'll make me, hungry, that kind of thing. But I don't have any.
Devil's lettuce. You can smoke it, not just provide herbal teas and clothing.
So I just wanted to share that because I was really, honestly, really impressed.
Well, it definitely sounds like a much better experience for you. Do you think their reliance on maybe more fundamental medicine because of the lack of equipment or access to the more expensive pharmaceuticals?
It's not even lack of access, it's lack of the corruption. You don't have the corruption of the pharmaceutical companies here. You have corruption in government. That's going to be an influence
significantly. But do you think as well, like maybe their education is different or anything that would push that,
I think
or maybe
so. Yeah, it's
how they generally handle it?
More well-rounded, so that they view like medicine and like homeopathic and natural stuff as like both useful tools. Whereas in the
Uh,
US, it's very polarized. Like, you either go to a doctor and they're like, there's nothing you can do homeopathic that's going to work. And then you go to a homeopathic doctor and they're like, never get surgery. Whereas here, it's more balanced. People are like, oh, there's some situations where one works and you really want to try the natural stuff. But if that doesn't work, then you can start doing the more extreme Western stuff. But,
uh-huh.
I mean, it's like I said, I actually went to a doctor and got results for a fraction of the price. And meanwhile, the United States, most people are like, how the fuck do people live in Latin America? They don't got no medicine. They don't got nothing. They don't got no health care. It's funny.
Yeah, it's very true. So obviously, the big factor you're pronouncing on is the corruption that faces the like America, for example.
So
With
the specific corruption is that doctors are incentivized to drug you because they earn more money if they're prescribing more drugs. That is usually illegal in other countries. That's a huge problem. And so like doctors will want they will try and prescribe you the latest brand name drugs because they literally can earn significantly more money by doing that. And that is a big problem.
It's very interesting, going from the UK system to the US system, due to how, well, the first one is the fear of going because of the expense, and even if there's a deductible and stuff, there's often a minimum you have to pay and stuff, and that's still
like $100 doctor visit fee is common in the US, even with insurance.
well, like mine starts at like 200 and then upwards, like so. It's and that's not even that bad, but I always have to get bloods, the bloods, even just $100 is a lot more than nothing. Which is what I've always
4 times as much as I paid for all of this experience. The lab work, 2 consultations, like. And that's just in the doctor's fee. That's not including like if you actually did the same things in the U.S. You got ultrasound, you got all of that stuff, right?
If you'd got all that, it would have been into the many thousands.
Dude, okay.
US, like,
when I was in the U.S. last, in West Virginia, I went to get STD testing, okay? Because I wanted to hook up with somebody, and I hadn't been tested in a while, so
sexually active, zany teen.
Yeah, the one time I had sex in the past, like, year and a half. And I was trying to find STD testing, but West Virginia is pretty conservative. And so like I was not treated. I was like, I went into the health clinic and I was like, hey, do you know where I can find some STD screening testing? And they were like, whoa, what's wrong with you? And I was like, I'm just trying to be preventative. And they were like, what? Preventative? What? Like they were literally like giving me shit and thinking I was lying because they were like, no, you're lying. You have like warts on your penis or something. You just don't want to tell us. And then, so they were like, well, you can go to this other place. And so I went to this place, and they were like, all right, there is free STD testing, but you have to show a utility bill in your name, and it's only one Thursday of the month, and it's on this Thursday. And that Thursday I was like in a different area, right? And so I was like, okay, I can't do that. What are my options? And she was like, the only other choice you have is to go to the ER and get the STD testing done there. And I was like, okay, I'll do that, I guess. And so I went to the ER, and then I was like, okay, I'm here to get some STD testing. It's just preventative. They didn't say anything to me. They were like, okay, that should be fine, yada yada. I go in, and at this point, I pass through the door. So I already owe, like, I'm already paying. Doesn't matter what happens. And then the doctor's like, all right, so normally for an STD panel, you would need to be tested for 5. But because you're just trying to be preventative, I can't actually test you for AIDS or syphilis. We can only test you for gonorrhea and chlamydia. And I was like, wait. So you can only test me for 2 of the that completely ruins the point of me being here. There's no reason. And he literally said, look, if you told us, if the only way we could give you these tests is if you got drunk last night and had sex with a hooker. And I was like, okay, I got drunk last night and had sex with a hooker. And he was like, no, that's not going to work. You already told me the truth. And I was like, okay. And then they tested me for gonorrhea and chlamydia, and I was clean. And then I got a bill. Guess how much that bill was? For 2 tests.
Oh.
2 STD tests.
Just a max 120.
$650.
Shit.
You know what I did with that bill?
Oh, 2. Just 2.
2.
You're so lucky you didn't have to do the
full
5.
panel. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And like that's why I went forward with it, because I was like, you know, I mean, at this point I'm already paying for the ER visit. And the ER visit was actually only like $100 something. Only $100 something.
Yeah, I know. Do you know why they can't do the extra tests?
It's because of the legislation in West Virginia. It's really conservative. So they just aren't like... and I went to an ER. You shouldn't go to an ER to get STD testing.
Although that's a factor, the majority of the reason that these things get limited is due to false positives. The question is, why not just go to a doctor and get every single test there is? There's hundreds of different tests you can have, and the reason being is because you will actually come up with 1 or 2 of them if you were to get all of them, just by the law of numbers.
Yeah.
So to prevent that, although it appears only to you that it's a small scale, if applied to 1 million, this extra 3 tests becomes 3 million extra tests, which would result in like thousands upon thousands of false positives, people believing they have diseases that they don't.
That's not what I'm saying. Like, West Virginians don't have access to easy STD screening. They literally don't. Whereas, like, and that's what I was getting to in the next part of the story. So then I went to Virginia. I went to a Planned Parenthood, got everything done, $90. No insurance, nothing. Just
nice
boom.
one. Did they do all 5 or just the 2?
Yeah, they did everything.
They did all 5? All right,
Yeah.
then it was just conservative legislation.
Yeah, it was. It's just not. They don't have the experience too, and how I was treated. Like when I was in Virginia, in Northern Virginia, when I went out and I was asking people, I was like, hey, I'm trying to find STD screening. Where can you recommend me? And it was just like, oh, that's cool. Okay, yeah, here. It was really pleasant. Whereas in West Virginia, people, they were literally like judging. Like it felt, I didn't care, but I could tell. I was like, if I was an actual person who needed help, I wouldn't be able to find it. Like, because I went out and I went to the most obvious health place in Wheeling where I lived, and it was just like that. I ended up being directed to the ER as the best option for me, and then they couldn't even do everything, and it cost so much money. I never paid that bill, by the way. I was just like, fuck it.